calling back. We're going to try to give her a call again, and then she just added another phone number to the 13-year-old grandson who's possibly with the daughter. Step out with this.
2412.
Veteran crisis hotline's calling in, so they have a female veteran's off her medication. She's over at the safe haven. Detective 12, take a check that one out.
6 1 bullet, 2 points, try to get shots.
Officer still stands for time? No. Offender in custody? Thanks. Anyone else close, point to 0, let me know. First standby. 10-4. Crisis hotline's calling in, so they have a female veteran's off her medication. She's over at the safe haven. Detective 12, take a check that one out.
6 1 bullet, 2 points, try to get shots.
Officer still stands for time? No. Offender in custody? Thanks. Anyone else close, point to 0, let me know. 10-5.
Unless supervisor and mom that I have location for with the rest of the
Wilson.
Let's hope StreamYard cooperates today, because it doesn't appear like it is. I've already gotten booted out like 4 or 5 times already, so that's promising. And yeah, I have to get everything set back up. There we go. I apologize. I don't know. Whenever StreamYard's going to fix their crap. Good morning, good afternoon, but it's probably morning for you. Thank you for hopping in. Appreciate you. Busby, if you're not busy, you're more than welcome to hop up here, buddy. Man, there's a lot of stuff that happened last night. I was gonna do a show, and then I saw Jules was on, so I figured I'd go in and show some love. And she broke it down pretty good. So if you haven't seen it, I'd suggest going to it. She broke it down pretty good. A lot of people didn't know about, they had heard that William 127 got his videos taken down from YouTube. But we still had the links because they were there for credit. And so when I first saw it and heard about it, I was like, what? So I just went to my own video, went to my description, and then clicked on it. And I said, this says deleted by uploader. That was already a red flag. The first red flag was waiting 2.5 years. But how many of you guys have seen the I don't know, would you call it an interview? I don't know if that's what you would call it. It seemed more like just a regular conversation or something. I would have been asking some different questions. I would have put some pressure on, especially with the whole lying to harsh thing, because that was the proof. But there's a lot of liars, and pants on fires yesterday. I got to say shout out again to Christy, Nevada. We're going to be checking out one of her videos. As soon as she dropped her video, it was crazy. I'm going to show you guys the comments. There was so many people when she dropped that video in the comment section already. I was going to talk about it last night. But I figured I'd go show some love and Jules. And then after that, I just went to bed and got some extra rest last night. It's good for the body, especially I've been pushing like crazy the last couple of weeks. But yeah, I saw that. And then when I woke up this morning, I was like, whoa, did you guys see that community post? Or was it a community post? I don't know if it was a community post or if it was a... That's right, Christina. She is on fire. We got to show her some love. It's good to see that she's getting the love she's getting. Speaking of that, there's somebody else that's going and telling their friends that the conversations are kind of flipped around. And so, they thought they were sneaky by dropping some comments, and then I'd respond, and then they'd delete them, and then they'd be like, why are you harassing me? And it's like, do you not know what we eat for breakfast? Like, we do this shit for breakfast, It's crazy. Speaking of, because, but yeah, that video, man, it was crazy. Great job. As soon as it dropped, a little bit after that, I watched it a few times. I dropped a little comment, showed some love, and man, I was all of the right, Lucy, all of the people in the comment section were like, "Did you hear that she says she's friends with Bill Thompson?" I was like, "Look at this because like sometimes the comment section is let's be honest. Sometimes the comment section is, you just kind of wonder if these people know how to make oatmeal, you know. But it's not that hard either. But it was nice because there was a lot of comments in the video, and they were all pointing out the same thing, and I was like, liar, liar, pants on fire. You know, it's kind of like we were saying from the beginning when I broke down the body cam stuff last week. Um, Remember when I was telling you guys? I was like, it really seems like it's like one of those jailhouse snitch kind of situations where they're gonna embellish or blow out of proportion something to get some kind of leniency, you know. Um, Busby. Oh shit, that's good. Oh, I haven't had coffee yet. Excuse me. But anyway. You know, it was one of those things where they kind of blow it out of proportion, you know. It's kind of like I was saying, it was a get out of jail, get out of trouble free kind of card. Hey, I'm somebody important, you know. That's just what it smelled like. Because I smell for those hot dog steaks, you know. I try to warn the people that I love. That's why I'm saying when I smell if I'm sitting there going, look, there's a wolf out there, and you're like, I don't see it. Just trust me, because this sniffer's good. Behind the desk and out on location. But it kind of smelled like that at the beginning, you know? And there was still like, hey, I wasn't there. I don't know what she knows. But that's just what it was to me, in my opinion. But it's kind of interesting now, right? You see this video. Shout out again, Christy, Nevada. We're going to be dropping her link in a little while. That video, man, where Brett Payne pulls over Molly, and she goes right at the end, I'm friends with Bill Thompson. Doesn't that remind you of what we just saw last week? I'm supposed to testify against Brian. You see what I mean? It's just confirmation. It's just confirmation. So again, when it comes to, even when I broke down the DoorDash and how DoorDashes don't work like that. DoorDashes don't park there. DoorDashes don't do that. Rosie brought up a great point too. If she's got all those ailments, then how in the, is she really gonna do all that walking when she can barely even walk as it is normally? No. It's oh yeah. Shit, it was all up in Christie's comment section last night. We were going to talk about it last night, but I wanted to go show Jules some love because I wanted to hear what she had to say. If you guys didn't hear what Jules had to say, and man, it's unfortunate. It's kind of like how, and maybe this is the reason why there was some snapback against her, because he went from William127 went from, because that's what I'm going to call him just because of the YouTube channel. Who knows what his name is? William127 was shouting out Jules in the interview with Birdman. And then after that, he came into chat. He saw that she played my shit, exposing his lies. She was already talking about the indiscrepancies of the statements and the stories and all this other stuff. I mean, she broke it down very beautifully. If you haven't seen it, seriously, go check it out. But it was kind of interesting, like, and so he leaves her Oh my gosh, this comment. You know, look, I'm going to be like, it's fucked up, the comment that he left. And we're going to show you that too if you haven't seen it. Got a lot of stuff to get into. But, you know, as a content creator, and Jules knows this because I'm sure she gets 40 times as many as I do. That's the kind of shit that we deal with on a daily basis. It really is. It really is. And so it's nothing, I hate to say it, it's nothing new. It's nothing new that people type. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's nothing new to us, and I know she knows that, and you know what I'm saying? She has, I know she gets the same shit. But, you know, when it's on a public platform, you know what I'm saying? Like, like I said, we get crazy ass fucking emails all the time. It is what it is. It's part of the gig, you know? It's part of the gig. It's unfortunate, but it's just part of it. But that kind of shit publicly, you know, when you're putting yourself off like, you know, you're some respectable individual and you're here to defend your friend and to bring a good light on Brian Koberger and all this other shit. And as far as I was concerned, when I watched your story, it's a good thing he didn't want to come on this show, because I would have asked him the fucking questions. And when it comes to me actually putting the proof out there that he was fucking lying, we would have, you know, what's up, dude? You know what I'm saying? Hey, do me a favor. It's like I've been saying from the beginning. If you're a friend, post a fucking picture of you two together. Busby posted one yesterday in like 3 minutes. Busby posted one in like 3 minutes. And we live fucking 5 states away. Or whatever. I don't 3, 5, something like that. You know what I mean? It's like, what's up, dude? The inconsistencies, the lies, there's no reason for it. And then, you know what I'm saying? Your shit backfired, bro. Your shit backfired because if you thought you came out here to defend Brian Koberger, you didn't tell any of us anything we already didn't know already that hasn't been talked about for the last 2.5 years. You didn't say anything beyond that. And anything else is like, okay, I was partying with Elvis too. I just don't ask me for a picture. But if your goal was to bring light to Brian Koberger and his innocence and make him look good, bro, number one, we didn't see anything we didn't already know already on the fucking interview last night. Number two, the comment that you left Jules, bro, like, it's one thing. Listen, it's one thing. It's one thing to like email her or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we get crazy ass fucking emails all the time. But for you to sit there and put that shit out publicly where all of her subscribers and people that maybe haven't even came across her channel comes across that shit, and that's supposed to put a good light on BK, bro? What kind of fucking cornflakes you eat? What, like, or is it the milk? Is it rotten? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you up here, bro? You come out trying to defend and make BK look good, and what? You just trashed all that shit in a fucking half a day. You were already trashing it to most people because, like myself, dude, I smelled your bullshit from the beginning. That's probably what set you off when Jules played my video showing that your shit was a lie. I bet that's what fucking set you off, bro. Just like when I exposed Translue Copy for plagiarism. She wants to go tell her friends that she's getting harassed, and it's like, really? You want to leave comments on my shit, and then I respond with facts, and then you delete them, and then you go run and tell your friends a completely different story because you ran out of lies. You ran out of lies. Watch what happens with this William 127 next. He's running out of fucking lies. Because, like I said last night, Jules busted the shit out of his statements. And I loved watching it because I was like, I smelled that shit from the first day. Because when I came out with my video, going over his 2 videos, and he was talking about corrupt law enforcement and this and that. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, man, I agree. And I said at the very beginning of the video, and I said at the very end of the video, I said both times, the only question I have is, why did it take you 2.5 years to come support the kid you've known forever if you've had a YouTube channel since 2018? Right? That's it. I mean, that's not that bad of a question. You know what I'm saying? He said he's known that kid forever, and that kid. I'm like, damn, they've known each other since childhood. And then I get a snappy ass comment on my shit, and I'm like, okay, bro, it ain't no thing. It ain't no thing. I ain't worried about it. You know, everything will be all right, right? Everything will be all right. You know, you just got to sing a little bit. Look at the sun, enjoy the flowers, smell the fresh air. You know. But then all of a sudden I woke up the next morning and my team says, hey, CJ, William 127 is telling Harsh that YouTube took his videos down. I'm like, what? I was already out on the road. I'm like, what? Hold on a minute. I went to my video. I clicked on the links and it said uploader. Oh, hell no. Fuck this shit. Came back and made a video. I'm like, look, guys, and I'm glad I did. And you guys, this is the thing. I'll share the video if StreamYard will allow me. You guys can literally click on the actual freaking links and see for yourself. Here, let me see here. Hopefully, thank you everybody for joining. I appreciate it. We do have a lot to go into, trust me. We got a lot to go into. All right, so don't get mad at me, StreamYard. Don't get mad at me. All right, it seems like it's okay so far. All right. Okay, so if you go to, where'd it go? This video right here, okay? Brian Koberger's friend William, who's known the kid forever, checking out his videos, right? So if I click on that, it'll show you, like, I'm sitting there, and here's the link. You know, you can click on it and come on back. Just get it in your watch history, and you can watch it after the show. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but you could... Lucy. Oh, Lucy. But there's the link. You can click on it. You can get it in your watch history, right? So I'm sitting there checking it out, and I'm like, right at the beginning, I'm like, why'd it take 2.5 years? So I'm checking out the video, and I'm like, yeah, man, I agree. Yeah, man, that's true. That shit happens. Yeah, that's true. That shit happens. And then I said, look, man, I agree with this shit. I just don't understand. Why the 2.5 years, right? So if you go to the description and you scroll down, okay, and you got HP accuracy, the channel, the first video and the second video for credit, okay? But not only that, but you can go down to the pinned comment that I pinned there 8 days ago, the same day, because not only did I put the links in chat and it just says little YouTube video thing, you don't know what that is, but guess what? You go down to my pinned comment from 8 days ago, it has the channel, it has the link to the first video, it has the link to the second video, and you can click on it, and look what it says. It says removed by the uploader. You can still click on it. Right? So then after that, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Why are we going to tell Harsh that over a week ago? Why are we going to tell Harsh that YouTube took down my videos? What's up, Blackhawk? YouTube, I'm sure you did find some interesting shit, bro. Blackhawk, he's yeah, you all know him. I bet you did, bro. I bet you did. You're badass, bro. Anyway. Yeah, so it was like maybe that's what pissed him off, but this is what's unfortunate, okay? And I want to share this with you guys. I'm going to share some photos with you, okay? This is what he's, oh my gosh, this is horrible too. So if you guys haven't seen it, oh no, it's going to freeze on me, isn't it? It froze on me. Man. All right, it froze on me. I'm just going to show, because if I do it again, it's going to freeze my camera again. So I'm just going to go ahead and read this out to you real quick, and then I'll refresh my shit. But look, this was right after her live. Oh, now it looks like StreamYard's bugging. So right after her live, okay? So after the live of her talking about, you know, the conversation over there, she wanted to have a reaction. I was going to react about it, but I was like, you know what? I was already tired, and I'm like, I'm just going to go show Jules some love and hang out in the chat. And I'm glad I did. Like I said, she broke that shit down, right? Again, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's from last night. But look at this shit right here. This is somebody that's supposed to be, like, as much as, and let's be honest, as much as Steve and Christy pop off, they don't ever say anything like this, you guys. You know what I'm saying? As much as they want to wear death row t-shirts, as much as they want to, you know, convict and all that, right? As much, yo, they never say shit like this. This is a whole new level, right? It's a whole new level. No, Jules, I was not summoned. Whoops, that's not it. Hold on a second. My bad. Where did I put that? That's not it. Here it is. Oh my gosh, this is nuts. My bad, I had the wrong one up there. Okay, so now, this was from last night. Now old William is threatening me, calling me fat. He is every dude that has ever been in my inbox that got mad. I either left his ass on read or said no, laughing my ass off. This is hilarious. Anyone who knows anything about the sport of motocross knows there are several events in every state every weekend across the country, and at those events that are several different classes. You wouldn't think an individual would actually at least pretend to have any kind of knowledge of that whatsoever before they run their mouth and try to discredit someone they know nothing about about a sport they obviously know nothing about. I mean, that is really, really basic common sense. At least it is to me. Now, I could be a real special kind of a hole here in 16 days when I get my upload privileges back. Oh, is that? Oh, really? Now you gotta wait for your upload privileges. Okay. Uh, can we say hot dog steak, anyone? There's plenty on the grill, y'all. There's plenty of hot dog steak on the grill. We got more to serve coming up. And yes, hang on to your hat because it gets really nasty. Here in 16 days, when I get my upload privileges back and make a video for you with the contact information for Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, or give you the name of a medical professional who will do some sort of surgery for weight loss. Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't do that. I am saying that is something I could see myself doing if I get really annoyed with someone who is that stupid to talk about something they have no knowledge in. It's pretty annoying. Maybe just stick to the videos on worrying about your ex boyfriend. And if anybody knows Jules, prayers to Jules because we are both victims of domestic violence. It's never right on either side. Will result in you chatting a lot less flack from real a-holes out here who sometimes have just enough time on their hands to rant about you in the rudest, most hurtful way possible. I do not really want to be that a-hole. I've been trying really hard to improve that part of myself. However, some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill. Don't cause me to be that type of person, please. And so I wanted to share that with you guys. Give me 1 second. I have to back out of StreamYard and come back in because everything else is froze up. Give me one moment. All right, are we working? We're working. All right. So when it comes to that, and I gotta say prayers to Jules because, like I said, like she said, even she gets this shit. Like I told you guys a minute ago, it's it's unfortunate that we have to deal with that kind of shit on a daily basis, or even people making up lies on our names. It's ridiculous because we're just here to discuss facts and talk about real shit. You know. Oh, I got the red flag when he lied to Harsh about his videos being taken down by YouTube, and I showed the proof 8 days ago, 9 days ago, that it was a bunch of lies. So, yeah, liars, liars, and pants on fires. So there's that one. And I just want to, I just, maybe William 127 hasn't been around for a while, and there are some people that haven't been around for a while, and nothing against them. You know what I'm saying? But uh, I think the last people that you want to threaten with shit is the people where it's their job to dig up information. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Like, so maybe he's just naive and I mean, he's had a channel since 2018, but Maybe he's just naive or something. I don't know, but bro, I'm just gonna give you a friendly man. Um, this is what we do. You know what I'm saying? This is what we do. And so the thing is that a lot of us just don't expose a lot of the shit. You know, I mean, we just don't. Doesn't mean we don't come across it. Doesn't mean that we don't dig for it. It doesn't mean that we don't always make sure that we always have that extra chess piece. You know what I mean? Or two or three or four or five or six. So I wouldn't like go around threatening people, man. Just as a friend, I wouldn't go around threatening people. You know what I'm saying? What what you said and what you showed last night on the interview is what you chose to show and say and discuss. I mean, it's a good thing that you were over there because I think in some other places you probably would have been asked a lot more different questions and there would have been a lot more pressure put on you, buddy. So, I mean, let's be honest. It was a softball match. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't major leagues. It was softball. So you were able to, you're able to present and all this other stuff, right? But you can't get mad when somebody calls out your bullshit. You can't get mad when somebody shows that you lied. You can't get mad when somebody breaks it down like Jules broke it down. You can't get mad. But if you're trying to be this voice for Brian, that's a wrong way to go about it, dude. And you went about it the wrong way. Not necessarily on the show last night because the shit that already stunk just stunk worse to the people that already smelled the shitty smell. But when it came to the comment that you left on Jules's page, I think she said he even deleted it after that. Speaking of deleted comments, we're going to go into some of those too, and then we're going to get into that body cam. Shout out Christy, Nevada. And shout out to her community because all in them comments last night. Did you guys hear? She's friends with BT. It's like, damn, look at those sleuthers in the comment section right after the video drop. It was fucking beautiful. So shout out to Christy. You didn't shine a good light, dude. In fact, you made yourself look really bad. Like I said, we don't even see that shit from people involved. And it's kind of one of these things. If you're going to, I can't wait until 16 days until you upload some shit. I can't wait. Because the fact that that's what you're going to show to people as an ambassador to Brian, because isn't that what you're supposed to be doing, right? William 127, isn't the reason that you came out with the video was to be an ambassador to Brian Koberger, to advocate for him? What advocate or ambassador does that? And if you know yourself and you know that's the kind of shit that's going to listen, if you want to be whoever you want to be, you just want to be William 127, hey, I'm here to talk about Idaho 4. Hey, you can say whatever the fuck you want to say, dude. But when you're coming out and your main purpose is to be an ambassador, if you're going to step up to the plate, you better make sure you can swing the fucking bat, dude. Make sure you can swing the fucking bat. Because you went up to the plate to advocate for Brian Koberger and you fell on your fucking ass, dude. And I'm going to tell you right now, just like I don't want any friends that are going to take 8 hours to call 911 because I still could have been fighting for my life and I could have been saved possibly. I don't want any fucking friends defending me that are going to say some shit like that to a female. I don't. So when you're listening to a story, maybe there's a reason why he only talked to you 2 times a week, because he's like, dude, this guy is what the fuck is wrong with him? And he probably just said, hey, back. Hey, what's up, Brian? Hey. And that was it. Because he's like, dude's a fucking, what the fuck, dude? I'm going to advocate for Brian, but I'm going to go talk all that shit like that to a female. Sitting there saying, well, you don't know about this. Well, you don't know about her. What the fuck, dude? And I have to say that too, Blackhawk. The body cams have been very interesting, and I have enjoyed them. We've even, especially those audio boosts too. We're going to be, I'm thinking about doing some more whisper diving tonight. I don't know. We'll see. Depends on how long we go today. I wanted to hang out with you guys in the morning today. And then we'll see about tonight, but there's some things I wanted to talk, now we'll see if StreamYard freezes me again, because let's go to some more deleted comments when people want to say some shit, don't want to be accountable, right? Don't freeze on me, StreamYard. All right, there we go. We're looking good still. So we got, you can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth. So let's look at some of these deleted comments, because here's some more lies being exposed. So we had some comments, right? Why would I need to give credit to an officer, Axon? They haven't uploaded the public record video for anything related to Idaho 4. I was like, you covered up their watermark and never gave credit in audio or description. It's called plagiarism. Simple. Yeah, you've gotten so much content from my find, and here you are talking about me. No lies. I chatted, not called, but chat. Let's be real. Blackhawk. Yeah, okay. Right? Dude, the lie. You should go check out my other community posts. Somebody's like, your views are low. I'm like, yeah, that's about as creative as the lies and how that person obtained the body cam. I don't need anybody to make my comment. And then look at this. Another post about research. Who keeps messaging me? Translate copy. Don't cover my watermark. And then I had to shout out Christy, right? Shout out again, Christy, Nevada. Another post about research. Hey, don't cover my watermark. That's all I ask. But I wanted to show some love to Christy, and so I included all the newest FOIA body cam videos. I didn't know maybe which one they might want to copy again, since they already copied the other one. And then here's the comment that was also left to me. Can you quit harassing me? I'm sitting there going, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about? And I just said, look, it's my story. So if nobody knows my story when it comes to plagiarism, I last year I got hit bad with some major plagiarism. Now that's why some people will strike the shit out of you now if you even try and play one of their videos. I've never been that way. I don't even strike the trolls. You know what I'm saying? But I still try, and it's about community. It's about trying to make a difference. Listen, the selfish shit. If you're in it for selfish reasons, have fun, because you're going to be miserable anyway. When you do it for the love and you do it because you care, it never gets old. You always have a positive outlook, and you understand that there's rainy days. So it's just when these comments get deleted, they get typed and they get deleted. Uh, it's like, come on, come on. Now, let me see here. What are we going to get to next? I want to show you guys. So now with these newer body cams, it's kind of like I was telling you guys when the body cam stuff first came out. We were hearing that it was a 2012 Subaru Forester four-door. We saw the truck in the body cams, um, but when it came to the vehicle, because it was like, okay, I mean, it's nice that is that the vehicle that was used? Is that the vehicle that was used when the crime took place? And so we all started digging, and it was a 2012 Subaru Forester four-door wagon. And so this is what it looks like. So then when you see in these new body cams, um, uh, it's obviously what it is. It's the Subaru. When the body cam first came out, and we'll get to it here. It's been about a week, and we still haven't been able to get to it. But I still wanted to skim through that specific hour. Like I said, 3:30 to 4:30 in the morning on the Linda Lane cameras. We might get to it. We might do it later tonight. But I still want to scan through it just to see if I can see uh, that vehicle somewhere. I'm not saying it is, and I'm not assuming that it's going to be. I just want to see. I just want to see if it is. Yeah, that's what. Yep. Yeah, and they just continue to gaslight the community, and then they continue to gaslight their friends because then they go around and tell their friends that what they're doing to me is what I'm doing to them, and it's like, I don't know, maybe you haven't been around for a while. We eat this shit for breakfast, right? But also, Vinny also jumped in on the body cam stuff too. So I wanted to share that with you guys. But first, we're gonna go to. Let me switch this up. We're gonna go to. Oh, and I forgot to turn on the. I get so distracted with StreamYard not working. Give me 1 second. Let me switch this up. My bad. I get so distracted with it not working. Forget to. You have to like reset all this shit back to. It's a pain in the ass when you're trying to do a live show and have everything move nice and fluid. Oh, it froze again, didn't it? It froze again. My gosh. Give me 1 second. I apologize. What the hell, man? How can we even do our show, StreamYard? Man, it's been like 2.5 weeks now. All right. I think we're working. All right. So what I'm going to do is, I hope it lets me do this. Come on, StreamYard. I'm going to share you guys the link, Christy, and the video that we're going to go through. But I made a times 4 audio boost version. We're not going to play it that loud. It froze again, didn't it? Son of a bitch, man. Hold on 1 second. One second. working? No, it's still froze. All right, give me 1 second. All right, hopefully it's working. Well, this is when it comes to this, everybody makes mistakes. Dynamite, this is what it is. That's not what ruined the credibility because everybody makes mistakes. It's when you gaslight and you come up with lies to cover other lies, and now look where they're going to. They're like resorting to leaving comments on my shit, and I respond with real facts, and then they delete them, and then they go tell their friends that. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's where it's getting to at this point. And it's like, this is the thing. What's up, Nina? It's like, this is the thing. Everybody makes mistakes. If you're going to do that shit, be like, okay, sorry. Let me correct it. Let me let me delete the video. If you want to re upload it some other way, I mean, re upload it some other way, but you got to give credit. And you can edit the video and you can edit the description anytime. You can even put a pinned comment in the comments anytime. But it's when you gaslight and lie and try and, I mean, look at what they're doing now. You're getting really pathetic, honestly. And that's what ruins credibility. Because everybody makes mistakes. We all know that. It's just when you don't own up to it and try and become better, well then that's when you really lose it, because you see another video that comes out and you're like, well, who'd you copy on that one? Because you never you know what I mean? You're never going to learn from the mistakes, so obviously it's going to keep taking place. All right, so I hope, please let me share this StreamYard. All right. Okay, so far we're good. All right, so let me share this with you guys. Shout out Christy. And if you're not subbed to her, I'll drop the link here. Hopefully StreamYard don't freeze up. All right, so I want to show you guys the comment section. Here we go. Here's Christy's channel. All right, here's Christy's channel. I'm gonna just put that up there. She does rock. And I'm glad she's getting the love. I'm glad she's getting the love because she deserves it. Because it's like I left in that one comment, like, here's a FOIA from a real one. No plagiarism, straight up. So I'm glad she's getting the love. She deserves it. She really does. But we're gonna listen. I made a special 4-time audio boost for this show. I'm not uploading it or anything. I just made it for this show, so I want you guys to hear that part where she says that they're friends with Bill Thompson. So let me hold on a second. Let me put this up. Let's get her. We'll have that showing under the credit the whole time there on the screen. All right, so check this out. Okay, so this video was put out 20 hours ago, right? And here's the link to the video too. Please go show her some. Do me a favor right now. What's up, architect? What's up, buddy? What's up, buddy? Appreciate you. Definitely go follow Architect on Twitter. Sorry, man, I can't open my damn tabs or StreamYard will bug out on me, bro. All you do, just go to Twitter if you got Twitter. Search Architect. I'll drop your link here if I can get to it at some point, buddy. Trust me. Dude's awesome over there too. But check this out, you guys. So this video was dropped 20 hours ago, right? Look at the look, already in the comments, you guys. Watch. Like even 2 hours ago. Oh, hold on. Let's sort by let's sort by newest. Let's go down to the very bottom. Let's go down to the very bottom. Check this out. Like, shout out to her community too, because they were on it from the jump, you guys. So 20 hours ago is when it dropped. We got some love. There's Nina right there. Let me see here. Now, let me see. Now they're talking about Payne being married. Let me see here. Noise complaint. Pulled over. Where was it? Great find. It was a great find. Let me see. So then you got awesome work from me. And then people started digging into it, right? Let me see here. It was like shortly after. Molly's boyfriend. Right here. 17 hours ago. They started going, holy shit. Can you guys see it? I don't know. It might be too small. Yeah, look at this. They already said, I like the subtle, and I'm friends with Bill Thompson. This was 17 hours ago. Not her saying she's friends with Bill Thompson. They were on it, you guys. They were on it. Because before Jules, I was like, oh shit, look at this shit. And then Caddy even noticed it too. I was like, she's like, CJ, go to this timestamp and make sure you hear what I'm hearing. I'm like, yeah, they're friends, right? Shout out to their community, man. They picked up on that shit real quick. They picked up on that shit yesterday afternoon, you guys. I was like, damn, look at that shit. They're already telling you. They're already telling you that the freaking then you got some conversations about the friend, the jacket matches. And that's what I was saying. See right here, curious if this was the car she was dashing that night. And I was looking at it and I'm like, yeah, I think it is, because we're coming up with a silver 2012 Subaru Forester 4-door wagon for her in 2022. Yes, yes, There's some dude with her. Yeah, Christy dropped a whole bunch. Christy dropped a whole bunch of links, man. It's like I was sharing. It's like when I was sharing them with Translu Copy. You know, when I was sharing them with Translu Copy, I was like, bam, 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 bam. Those are some real foils, baby. Just in case, she did a great job. I share them everywhere. Why not here too? She deserves the love, and Christy deserves it for real. No plagiarism. You got one body cam and then another one, or this one, or you might like that one. I don't know. She's done a great job. All right. Oh, it just froze, didn't it? All right. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do the 4-time version, and I'm not gonna play it at its maximum, but just in that one certain part, because I want you guys to hear. Like, I know it. You might have had to put your earbuds on. You might have had to put your earbuds on, but that's why I went ahead and boosted it. So, uh, again, here's the link for the video that we're using. So go show it some love. And I might be talking like I'm underwater because StreamYard looks like it's bugging. Go ahead and send it to me, Sarah. DM it to me or email it to me. I gotta wait a minute and see if StreamYard fixes itself. Maybe it's because of Twitter. Let me get rid of my video background. Maybe it's that too. Is it my video background? So here's the link for that. It looks like it's. I'm sorry, you guys. Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate you. If you're not following Sarah on Twitter, Sarah D. Irish, follow her too. I apologize. I wish I could drop the links today, but it doesn't even. Am I going to have to come back in? Let me get rid of this. Okay, that fixed it. That's weird. So if I click on this again, then okay, it seems like it's okay now. Okay, so I'm going to turn this down because we are not going to listen to it at 4-time boost. We're just going to lower it to about there. Now, this is what I'll go ahead and play it for you. And then when you get to like the 8:55, 8:56.
Of Idaho 1 Lincoln Edward 2980.
Holy shit. Hold on a minute. What the fuck? That shit acted weird. That didn't even sound right. Hold on. Let me go to the file again. All right, let's go. Here we go. All right, we'll get that thing turned down. Now, this is Brett Payne. If you haven't seen it yet, this is Brett Payne. And it's crazy. So this is just a couple months before the crime took place. Now, we saw the body cam that took place.
Of Idaho 1 Lincoln Edward 2980. E6 and line.
We saw the body cam. Here, I'll just mute it. We saw the body cam that took place last year in 2024. Now she looks way different in this one. Like way different just in that couple year period. It's pretty wild. So it's he's stopping her, pulling her over because of a headlight. She doesn't. Well, she claims to have insurance, but she hasn't printed out. And there's the vehicle. Hasn't printed out a new copy, right? Now, when it comes to DoorDash, the people I know were just asked if they had insurance. They didn't have to supply a policy number. They didn't have to supply a date. They just had to check, like when you go to the motor vehicle, they just go, "Do you have insurance?" Yes. That it's not like you show them your insurance card. They're asking you because, if you lied, well, then that leaves them with no liability because they asked you. And if you lie, well, then you got to be accountable for it. And so, I don't know, maybe it's different in different states than the people that I've asked and discussed it with. But each one of them told me that they've never had, all they had to do was say that they had insurance. They never had to supply, did they, when it comes to their license and stuff like that? Yes, obviously. Uh, car information, you're supposed to be in the car. When you set it up with DoorDash, there's a car that's set up with it too. You're supposed to be in that car. Like, you're not supposed to DoorDash in anything other than what you have in the dasher information. But none of it is just, yes, we have insurance. It's not like you have to, but I don't know. Again, each state's different. So maybe there is a state out there, maybe. But I don't know anybody from Idaho that DoorDashes. So if anybody from Idaho DoorDashes, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they do. I doubt it. I think it'd be across the board for the company, but you never know.
Good evening.
Hi, yeah, my headlight's out. I'm actually trying to earn money to go.
Gotcha. Alrighty. Yep, no big deal. I'm Corporal Payne. That's why I stopped you guys. All right, where are you guys headed this evening?
And by the way, that's not a Dasher app that's on her phone. That's Google Maps. The Dasher app has its own GPS. That's Google.
Good, just in the middle of the day.
So unless she's got her phone down here and she's using another phone, now there's some people that have told me they've had to use their own phones because the Dasher, whatever the navigation thing is called, whatever, I don't know what it's called. They have their own navigation. Some have said that it doesn't work very good. So they'll have the information and stuff on their phone, but then they use another device to put the addresses in because it actually gets them there quicker than going through the navigation that's supplied from the app, I guess.
So I just wanted to...
Okay, gotcha. You got your registration proof of insurance as well?
Yeah, I got everything. Usually they know because the dashing has got it all set up with the app.
Registration right there.
She looks a lot different.
Insurance card, I have the older one, so I gotta print off the new one. So.
Okay, well, I'll double check on my end for you. If you can look and see if you can find a new one of these. Do you have one?
I don't have one on me. I gotta print it off. I actually got stopped the other day, and I gotta call the DMV too, because they said that I didn't have insurance and there's issues, and so yeah, I know it's gonna come up all weird, but yeah, it's all cleared out. That's why I could use the dash.
Okay.
If I didn't have insurance, they wouldn't actually let me use that.
That's I mean, she's right. If she didn't have insurance, they wouldn't let her dash, but you can dash without insurance. That's just the risk that you take. So to say that you can't dash, I mean, look at how many times she hasn't had insurance. So it's not like they like, hey, we need you to take a photo of your insurance. Now, it could be one of these. Now, this could be true. Because they go off your driving record, they go off your background, they go off of a lot of stuff. And some people have said they've had to wait like 3 days just to have the stuff that they were asking, that they supplied to get. I mean, it's crazy. But it's not like they make you take that photo. Now, if you something comes across, and then it comes across your license, and then they have some kind of, notice or whatever, which they might, from the Department of Motor Vehicles, then I can see them like, saying, okay, you can't until you send us a picture. Right. Uh, and so it could be that situation, I suppose. Well, yeah, she's going to hand him insurance, but it's going to be a paper that's already old. But she didn't, and she didn't print out a new copy. Has it happened? Of course. But when you listen to her in the stop, if you just got pulled over a few days before for not having insurance, well, don't you think you would have a printed copy by 3 days later? Because if you got pulled over already, it's like, well, I don't want to get pulled over again, so let me make sure, right? Because I'm probably going to get pulled over again. Look, it's a small ass town, 2 little small ass towns in the middle of nowhere. They know, hey, I just pulled that lady. They're at a McDonald's. Hey, I just pulled that lady over a couple days ago and she didn't have insurance. Keep an eye on her. They're bored. So when they come across a little bit of blood, they're like, hey. So you'll see it. She'll hand it.
Okay, well I'll check on my...
But look at how different, like, this is 2 years. So September 2024 with the body cam from earlier. And then this one right here, this is in 2022, June 28th or 18th. I think it's 28th or 18th. Because it says 28th in a description. I don't know. I think it says the 18th on the body cam, though. Yeah, it says the 18th on the body cam. Hold on one second. Here, we'll throw up. I don't want to confuse anybody. And here, let me drop this down too. Yeah, because I thought it looked like it said 18 on it. All right, so here's that. We got her link up there. Her watermark for her up there, right there. But look at how different she looks. It's crazy, right? In a way, it doesn't even look like the same person. And that's just 2 years.
My end, if you don't have a way to prove it, I might have to issue a citation, okay? So I'll double check. Sometimes we get them on the state return for your vehicle, but if not, then I'll have to issue a citation for that, okay?
It's going to come up saying that I don't, because, yeah, I got to call the dude.
Okay. What's, is the, let's see what's a good address for you. Is Garfield still a good address for you? Okay. What's a good phone number? Okay.
She's given her phone number. It's redacted.
All right. Thank you very much. I'll be right back with you, okay?
I'll go ahead.
Oh, it froze again. Dang it.
Moscow 157, I'm code 4. I'll be busy issue.
All right, so I'm going to fast forward it. Sorry, my camera froze again. I just joined you as friends. No. William. Yes, Andrew. What's up, buddy? If you want to hop on, I'll drop you a link if you want to hop on. Yeah, she says it right here. Sorry, StreamYards looks like it's bugging again. So it's just him typing information. It's just him typing information. So then he goes back to the car, right? Sorry, you guys, my StreamYards. Let me see. Hold on one second. I'm going to have to come back in. Give me a moment, you guys. It's bugged. All right, sorry, you guys. Yeah, let me send you an email. Sorry, my StreamYard is bugging. Yeah, we're going to get to that part here in a second. I just sent you an email with the link. Hopefully, man, it's bugging. Let me go up here. I apologize, you guys. All I can do is just continue to push. So let me bring up this video. Gotta go back to it. Let's pull that up. All right. So he was going to pull her over. He pulls her over. She doesn't have insurance, right? So then I gotta say shout out to her community again, because like I said, you go right just a couple hours after the video dropped and I went and checked it out. Shit, I left a comment real early and I checked it out, and then I came back later because there was somebody commenting something back to me, and that's when yesterday afternoon, last night, that's when I started seeing people going, "Oh my gosh, they're friends." It's like, what? Shit was wild. Okay, so let me see. Go right there. What the hell is StreamYard doing, man? All right. All right, so here, this is where she says, ooh, let's get that up there too. Scoot that over. All right. This is where she says that she's friends, okay? So let me go a little bit ahead. He's talking to her. Here, I'll just let this part play out.
Alrighty, ma'am, here's your documents back for you. Okay? So I was unable to find anything on the state return, just like you said, alright? So I am going to issue a citation. Now, generally how these work is if you can go to the courthouse and show that at the time you were pulled over you had current insurance, then they sometimes will work with you and they can just dismiss it, okay? The reason we issue these citations is obviously if you hit somebody and you don't have insurance, that person's out a lot of money, right? So we take it pretty serious, alright? So,
I need to get it straightened out.
Yeah.
I've gotten one in the past. So
Yeah. Okay, alrighty, sounds good. Well, I'll just explain this to you real quick, okay? So this is your information up top, the vehicle you're driving right in the middle, where I saw you, and this is the infraction, is failure to provide proof of liability insurance.
All right, hold on. Let me know if you can hear it. What's up, buddy? Hold on one second. I gotta fix this.
I hear you. Do you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh my God, I look terrible. Oh my God.
Oh, whatever. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Yes. Yes, I hear you.
I'm trying to fix this here. It's not really working out too good.
I found StreamYard did a little bit wonky the last couple of weeks.
Oh my gosh, isn't it horrible? Here, let me. Yeah, it's been very, very wonky for sure. Very hard to maneuver and manage, especially when your cam is freeze and all that stuff, and you're just trying to show something. But yeah, let me know if it's. I'll play a little bit before we get to it. Let me know if it's too loud for you. I did a little audio boost. I don't even have it at full blast. I have it like at 12.
It's too loud, yeah.
But yeah, she says it right here about the 8:55, 8:56 ish mark. on Christy Nevada's video here.
Citations is obviously if you hit somebody and you don't have insurance, that person's out a lot of money, right? So we take it pretty serious, all right? So,
I need to get it straightened out.
Yeah.
I've gotten money in the past.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Right there, I'm friends with Bill Thompson.
So what is going on here? I heard that she was stopped twice. Is this the second stop?
There's more videos, man. There's more than this. There's somebody else, Sarah, who was it again? MB Incorporated dropped another one, I think. Yeah, it's the FOIAs are going like crazy, man. But that's the crazy thing. Like when that video came out, thank you, Sarah. When that video came out, like a week and a half ago, and we did that audio boost. That's when we were hearing the secret conversations and the whispers and how they were admitting to harassing her, and how they were accusing her of slinging and all this other stuff. And she, at that point, hey, 2 times, once in the car, once at the station. I'm supposed to testify against Brian. Yep. And then right here, she makes that comment, I'm friends with Bill Thompson. Now, this is 2 months before the crime took place. No, this was 6/18. So this was 5 months. A little less than 5 months before the crime happened.
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm thoroughly confused. But second of all, okay, this was before 11/13/2022. Did she say she was friends with Bill Thompson just to get out of it, or is it true?
I mean, I'm. Who knows? I mean, he has to have. This is Brett Payne that pulled her over. I'm sure law enforcement probably has some kind of interaction with Bill Thompson once in a while, whether it's through functions or whatever. Now, is she lying? Who knows?
Well,
but it sounds like, she's probably just like the other. She was, hey, I'm a witness. I think she's using it to try and get some kind of leniency, right? I mean, that's
that would make sense on the second stop. But if this one happened before November 13th of 2022, I guess my question is, does she have some kind of a record for OUI or for a DWI or whatever, and she knows Thompson because she's been in court with him before on other charges? I mean, I don't know.
No.
Why are you laughing?
because it's true, man. That happens. But no, she that's the thing. Like, she was she got pulled over in early 2024 for DUI, even though she blew a 0. She claims that she will fail the field sobriety test because of her ailments, and she'll list them out. She'll list them out over and over and over. And she passed the breathalyzer, but they were still waiting 9 months from that last stop. They were like, we haven't got the blood results back for that stop because they had already pulled her over for that. So when they pulled her over for registration, the last one, that's when she was like, oh, it's this again. And they were like, yeah, what's that meth in the back seat, Molly? And she's like, what are you doing? And there was nothing in there. The cop that was in the vehicle was like, we think you're slanging. And they were trying to, like, basically, I think, force a DUI situation or for her to admit to it. They just kept like going at it. And then she went back to the station and didn't blow anything on the breathalyzer. And so they were doing some more. They were going to do some more of the tests or whatever. And so that back then it was kind of like, I don't know, man. When I first seen it, have you seen that body cam where she got pulled over and they were the latest one?
I saw the September 2024 one, where she She's having an issue. She's having a breakdown. She's on her pain meds or whatever. Yeah, I ran pieces of that on my more recent Koberger episode that ran last Sunday, but I've been out of it a little bit because the Karen Reed trial has been going on, and we've been really focusing on that every single day until the jury verdict a week ago today. So I'm just trying to catch up on Koberger, and so I don't understand this at all. I mean, she looks pretty coherent in this video you're playing now, unlike the video.
Right. She looks a lot different. I mean, that's 2 years, but man, she looks a lot different in this one right here. And I don't know, when I first saw that September body cam I came across, it reminded me of like somebody that was saying it to try and get leniency or get out of trouble or something like that. And that's why I was like, I didn't even think that she even really saw him, honestly, because I broke it down yesterday when, there's her witness statement on December 6th that, for them to switch the Bolo on December 7th, her statement on December 6th wasn't going to be anything concrete enough where they would switch it from a Sentra to a Hyundai. Okay. And also when it comes to her statement, when you're doing DoorDash, you're meant to pick up the order quick. You're meant to deliver it quick. You're meant to get out of there and get to the next one quick. That's how you make your money. And so if you're looking at what would have looked suspicious at the time that she was delivering the DoorDash, nothing. Because when you're looking at the Dateline footage that they showed that we haven't seen from the courts, at that period at 4:00, they're coming in normal. They're not, and they don't leave at a high rate of speed, which is very, very obvious. They're not leaving at a high rate of speed when she's still there. And so that's why I've always felt if she did give some kind of witness statement, it was more of, I delivered the DoorDash and that's all I know. Because I don't know, you tell me, Andrew. I think like if you got a DoorDasher, this is the first day of the investigation, first couple days. You find out that there was a DoorDash that got delivered just minutes before the crime was taking place. You're not bringing that DoorDasher in to have a conversation and talk about flowers. You're in there to push them and pressure them, aren't you? Like,
absolutely. You want their observations as soon as you can get them, as long as they're fresh in the witness's mind, because as you know, as time goes by, memories of details fade. But I have a question for you. This December 6th, 2022 statement, did I miss that? Is that on the docket somewhere, or is that available somewhere?
Detective Mowry, his affidavit, hold on, let me pull it up for you, because I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Okay. My head has been so deep into the Reed case that I've kind of lost track of Koberger, but obviously I've got to, as the summer goes by, I've got to, get back up to speed on it.
Well, I had a lot of people asking me, like, because when this DoorDash lady stuff came out, I had a lot of people asking me if I thought that her witness statement, because they got the warrant and then they got the warrant served, and then on the 7th, they got what they requested, and then that was the same day that they put out the Bolo for the Hyundai Elantra and not the Nissan Sentra. Give me 1 second.
Oh, is this just in one of Mallory's affidavits? Is that where it is?
Yeah.
There's no separate statement that she gave that we have access to.
No.
Anyhow?
No.
Okay. Oh,
no. This was the community that was asking me, like, hey, what do you think? Do you think that her her information that they got on the 6th and 7th made them switch it to the Hyundai Elantra? And I'm like, no, they would need more. Just like with the witness statement, what is she going to see, man? There's other cars driving around. You don't know if that person, because you don't live there, you don't know if that person's just coming home for you to say, there was a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra driving all crazy. It didn't take place because you weren't there when that car was driving crazy. The car didn't drive crazy until 4:20 in the morning.
Well, the other thing that doesn't make sense to me, and again, maybe it's just because I've been a little bit out of touch with the case recently. The other thing that doesn't make sense is that the DoorDash driver would have made the delivery to the front door of 1122, but Koberger is alleged, or whoever the perpetrator would have been, is alleged to have come around the back and then down the hill. So how would the DoorDash driver have seen the suspect?
Well, that's what I'm saying, because I have some friends that work for DoorDash, and as soon as it happened, I reached out to them and I asked them some questions, and that was one of the things. They were like, "This is how we make money. We make money by picking up the order as quick as possible. We get it delivered as quick as possible, and we hit the complete button as quick as possible." They said that right there, it's all based off of analytics and percentages. So if they're early all the time and they're accepting the orders quick and they're doing all these things, that gives them more orders, and not only more orders, but gives them the higher paying orders compared to right. And you're not doing DoorDash to go broke, or just come even. You're trying to make some money off of it. And then Rosie brought up a good point yesterday when it comes to all these ladies' ailments. Well, if this lady has all these ailments, she definitely isn't going to park anywhere else up, and when it comes to DoorDashers, 90% of the time, if not more, they're pulling up in your driveway. They're not parking on the side of the road, because it's to get to the door as quick as possible and to hit that complete button as quick as possible, because that complete button is the one thing that makes the major difference when it comes to the algorithm and how they get their orders. And so I showed people yesterday, like with the footage that I got when I'm driving up that hill, and you see not only the incline that you're going up as you're getting to the corner of 1122, but as you turn that corner and you're starting to go up the side of the house, the top of that road is literally at the top of the balcony railing for the third floor. And so for you to think that, number one, you're not going to take that route because it's going to take another minute and 30 seconds for you to go that way instead of driving up in that huge driveway where you wouldn't be blocking anybody coming in and out.
No.
And also with her ailments, like Rosie brought up, she's going to be hurting like crazy. Maybe not walking down, but trying to walk back up that incline, going all the way up, like 30, 40 feet difference in elevation. That's going to be hard on your body. So
yeah, I remember you were actually nice enough to give me some of your video that you shot when you were out there, and I found that much more helpful for me to use a frame of reference as to the layout of the streets and the property than the networks or court TV, or they'll give you a 2-second clip and then they'll bring in the dramatic dun, 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 dun. And but you gave me the video that you took when you were driving, so that really helped me to see, and I understand it's quite a hill up there. And
yeah, it is.
You look across to the balcony. Yeah. So I don't know. I really don't know. And I would defer to people that do, but it doesn't make any sense that a DoorDash driver in the front would have seen, the alleged perpetrator around the back. She might've seen somebody else. I mean, it was a party house. It was a football weekend. There's 6 people in that house at that time.
People coming and going.
Somebody's boyfriend or girlfriend could have been waiting outside for them. It could have been any one of a number of people. So we don't know so much. There's so much that we don't know, and we don't even know what we don't know. But I don't know. I don't think it makes any sense. So here we go.
Yeah, people coming and going. And this is what I was saying. I was saying, look, if she really did see him like that, like if she went and delivered, and here's that incline, if she went and delivered that DoorDash and she saw the dude, and she saw, hell, this top of this goes to the top of the house, basically. If she saw the dude peeling out, then I could be like, yo, that's a witness statement. But if you look at the timeline, that's not, when you're looking at the timeline, when she would have been there, the car would have been driving like this. It's not going all crazy and all this other stuff. She would have just seen a car pulling in, and look at all these cars. How do you're gonna sit there and see somebody pulling up that you don't know if they live there or not, and you're gonna be like, yeah, I saw the killer. I don't think she was the one that even knew about the car, or even knew that she saw the car of the person that committed the crime, until law enforcement said, hey, did you see a white Hyundai Elantra? Yes, I did. And I don't even know if that's legit, man, because again, when you're looking at what she's willing to do, whether it's in the station, in the car, or even on this body cam, I'm going to throw out that community chest monopoly get out of jail free card, or get out of trouble for free card. And so I have to wonder, if she really said, yes, I saw him, did she really?
Yeah, you know what? I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Don't get me started on the JFK case, but I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
We should do a show sometime together on that, man.
But come on now. I did a series on the JFK assassination, and it really did not play very well. People just don't care. It's sad. But anyhow, back to this case. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. But I mean, I'm just going out on a limb to suspect that she has a history, DWIs, registration, gosh knows what else is in her background. So she's a willing witness to say what the law enforcement wants her to say. So, I mean, she's not going to stand up very well on cross-examination if they get her record. No, so I don't know. I really don't know. I think they're desperate because all they have is Dylan with the bushy eyebrows testimony. And, you know, lots of people have bushy eyebrows. And as you know better than me, you know, Dylan has a lot of problems. She has a lot of problems on cross-examination.
Well, I think a lot of different statements too. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of problems for sure.
I think a first-year law student could cross-examine the crap out of her.
I know that's the thing, like, because I remind people, like, when we did our OJ series a couple years ago, because I was like, you guys, this is gonna be like OJ's case, because we were already seeing the DNA dirty gloves of contamination and stuff like that, and I studied the OJ case a lot when it happened, and then ever since, you know, and I was like, man, the mishandling of the DNA, it makes you think of what's that doctor's name that they had on the stand in OJ's case?
Not Barry Scheck. Barry Scheck was a really bright attorney. He was
no. He did no. That's the thing. They broke that down, man. Yeah. They broke down the contamination, and really, a lot of people, I don't know, this is my opinion, a lot of people think it was the glove that set him free, but really the glove was just icing on top of the cake, because the mishandling of the evidence that the law enforcement did, I think, is what really, it might have had a crust of glove, but really the pie was made out of the mishandling of the evidence and the way that they process things.
Yeah, you're right. I don't remember the doctor's name, but Barry Scheck was the really then bright young attorney who knew that. He was awesome. He tore that apart. What a great case.
Yeah, it was. Go ahead. Sorry.
It makes me go back and think of the Charles Manson case, which
what
the state
somebody put out a video comparing it to Charles Manson. What do you mean?
I'll tell you exactly what I mean. The Los Angeles police and Vincent Bugliosi, may he rest in peace, you know, got a conviction only because Charles Manson was so crazy and represented himself. At one point, the thing that I remember the most that stands out about the Los Angeles police blowing it was they hadn't found a gun. They were looking for a gun. It was all over the news and the TV, and there was no such thing as streaming back then. But some little boy was playing in his backyard, and he was climbing up this embankment towards a major highway, and he finds a gun. And so his parents call the police, and the little boy had enough sense to take a pencil and stick it in the barrel of the gun and pick the gun up without even touching it. Then the LA police guy comes over and just grabs it and gets his handprints and fingerprints all over it. And that wasn't the only misstep that happened in the Charles Manson case. But then when the OJ case came along, I said, they didn't learn a freaking thing.
No,
The police learned not a freaking thing. And you would think that in a large, huge, major city like that, the number 1 or 2 city in the country, you'd think they'd learn, but they didn't.
No.
And, it just goes on and on in other cases. But anyhow, getting back to this case, I just don't know what to make about this MM. Are we allowed to give her a name or not?
Yeah, I just call her Molly.
Okay, Molly, yeah.
Yeah, I just call her Molly, but I don't know. I never thought she was credible from the start, man. She'll be as credible as, because they're trying to, I'll just say this. She's making herself out to be the number 2 witness, because Dylan obviously is number 1, because she saw him inside, and she's claiming she saw Koberger outside. But really, I don't think either one of them are going to be credible. And I think that just like the OJ case, you saw how the defense ripped everything to shreds when it came to even like the witnesses, like even when it came to the witnesses, ripped them to shreds. And I really think that that's going to happen in this trial, man. I really feel like because when you got Brett Payne, I don't recall, I don't remember. You got Mowry, I don't recall, I don't remember. Anybody else you got up there, I don't recall, I don't remember. And then you're going to have Dylan and Bethany, and what are they going to tell you? The same stuff.
I think they have such a horrible case that there has to be more that's in all these sealed documents and under the gag order. Don't you think there has to be a lot more than what we know? Because
I don't think they wanted it to get this far, man.
Based on what we know, they don't have a conviction. They don't have him at the scene. There's serious questions about the car, and I know there's people out there that totally disagree with me, but as an attorney, you have to remember that the state has the burden of proof beyond all reasonable doubt, all reasonable doubt. And just looking at Molly and Dylan, there are huge doubts. You could drive a truck through the doubt. I mean, right. They've got to, don't you think they've got to have more that we don't know? Because based on what we know, I'm not going to say it's an SHIT case, but
when the PCA came out January 5th, 2023, and we started digging into it, I was within 2 weeks, and I'm being honest, and the shows are there. Within 2 weeks, I was already like, this is not making sense. This PCA affidavit Exhibit A from Brett Payne it's not making sense. And even when you're looking at the even the document itself, man, do you not proofread? Do you not make sure that everything is noted correctly, especially when it comes to a city and what state it's in? What the specific road is called. I mean, all of these different things in that Exhibit A, there was so many clerical errors. And I'm sitting there coming from somebody that was in management for 25 years. And I'm sitting there going, I'm not even a lawyer, and I would make sure that my documents are right, man. Because sometimes they would use those in the court system if they were trying to not deny unemployment and all these other things, and it went to the court route and whatever. That stuff mattered. Dates, times, you had to make sure that everything was noted correctly as you're doing it. And so I always kind of came to the conclusion that after I started seeing that stuff, I was like, I started looking up at the other cases that they handled up there, and I started seeing that a lot of the cases, they throw a crap ton of charges at people, and they don't have a public defender like Ann Taylor. They have a public defender that's going out and meeting the prosecution at Denny's, and they're talking about a plea agreement before they even go back to their client and say, look, I think you need to take, but I didn't do it. Listen, it's a good deal. You're going to want to take it. And I feel like that they got used to that, because before this case, none of the world's eyes were on Moscow, Idaho. None of them were. And I really feel like you go and you look at all the leaks that have taken place since this took place, the times that all of these sources close to the investigation, and it came out to be lies on mainstream media. You look at all the propaganda push that's taken place with the documentaries, the Prime Video one that's coming out, the Dateline one, the books, all this different stuff that's pushing all one narrative. And it's like they got used to, before the world's eyes were looking at them, they got used to throwing a bunch of charges at people. People couldn't defend it because they didn't have the proper, or the representation that Muddy could offer, and therefore they ended up having to take plea deals, and they never had to show people. Even Bill Thompson, in one of the first court hearings that they had, when they were talking about how we handed over everything, Judge, and she was asking for the DNA stuff. I still haven't got the DNA stuff, and Bill Thompson's like, look, I can just ask the lab, I can ask the FBI. I can't promise that they're going to give me anything, right?
I remember that.
And he referred back to a case where he said, look, Judge, there was this case that happened not too long ago where we didn't have to supply the FBI what the FBI discovered when it came to this DNA and this and that. And the courts were totally fine with it. But really, when you looked up that case, no, they weren't. Because that person ended up getting off because they didn't supply that information. And so that's when I'm like, man, then the deadline came when they were supposed to have all the discovery turned over at the end of 2023. They were supposed to have all the discovery turned over, and what happened? Nothing. There was all these people. There's going to be huge doc drops, and then nothing. And I really feel like what's going to happen is this trial is going to expose that the bluff. I really feel like they've been saying that they've had a full house this whole time, and really, when it comes time to reveal the cards, they only got a pair of sevens. I mean, people in poker, they're gonna bluff, and it's a poker game when it comes to, it's kind of a poker game, chess match, so to speak. And so I think that's what's going to take place. And I want to see what you think about this. I also thought that the prosecution would have, in a backdoor way, greenlit the leaks when it comes to the leaks, because I think it could have been a gamble. What do you think about this? I'm the prosecution. I've been telling people the whole time, just wait till we get to trial. We have so much, and once we get to trial, you're going to see everything we have. And then we're seeing the last 2 years in these court hearings, where's it at? And I think it could be a tactic like, yeah, we're going to greenlight it because we could leak this backdoor. We can leak this, have a self-made patsy get in trouble for it. I did it on my own. But then the possibility of that evidence becoming tainted and then not being introduced into trial, and then they get to a point where they're going, we would have been able to show it to y'all if we didn't have that dumb leak by that self-made patsy.
Well, just because there's a leak does not relieve the prosecutors from the state from their absolute constitutional and under the rules duty to disclose their evidence in advance. It's a basic constitutional right of the defendant to be able to confront not only the witnesses but the evidence, and to have all of that in advance. So if the prosecution thinks that it's going to get away with blindsiding the defense by bringing stuff up new in the trial this summer,
how does that even happen?
It should not happen. And Judge Hippler seems to be a no-nonsense kind of a guy. Yeah. And I would hope that he wouldn't allow that. You can't bring stuff in the at the last minute. And that's why oh God, I'm having a brain issue right now. That's why that case was dismissed in the death of the Hollywood. Come on, help me out here. The case was dismissed because the prosecution did not disclose evidence until the time of the trial. And
But how does that even get allowed though? Because
it's
I've
not
heard
allowed. That's why that case was dismissed. It was not allowed. You can't just bring evidence in at the last minute. It shouldn't be allowed.
well,
In,
yeah,
in Massachusetts, the Karen Reed judge let it fly by in the Karen Reed case. But I would hope that Judge Hippler, who seems like a very sharp guy, a really no nonsense guy, he's been fair and he's been tough to
yeah,
both sides. I don't know if
yeah.
you agree with that.
Oh
He's
yeah, I
been fair
do.
and he's
Yeah,
been tough.
yeah,
He says, we're having the trial. You better get ready for the
yeah.
trial. I don't care. I got to write a decision and make sure it's a good decision. And he'll do that. But he's pretty much told him we're having a trial. So you can't do that. You just can't bring in stuff at the last minute. I can't believe that, Bill Thompson might try to get away with it, but I highly doubt that the Attorney General's office in Idaho would even try that. Do you?
I'm surprised that it's even because with Judge John Judge, the dude couldn't make a decision on peanut butter or jelly for weeks. All right. And he let the deadlines go and go and go. Judge Hippler, this is why I like Judge Hippler, because he's it's a well-oiled machine. Even though they had this Dateline stuff come up and they've had different hurdles come up, he's still making that thing run nice and smoothly, and that's why I appreciate it very much. I don't understand how it happens in the first place, because if you got a deadline and you're supposed to hand everything in, it is not fair. Like you said, it's the state's job to produce the evidence of his guilt, not the defense's job to provide the evidence of his innocence.
Exactly.
And so that's not fair to the defense to introduce evidence after the deadline. So I don't understand why. I mean, it sounds like it's a day one class rule. Hey guys, there's a deadline. You can't pass it. I'm surprised it's just okay, well, sorry, you didn't hand it in time. You don't get credit for it. And it gets tossed off and not even allowed to be used.
Yeah, your chatters reminded me, and it did come back to my mind. It was the Alex Baldwin case that was dismissed. It was dismissed immediately when it was found that the state had not provided evidence, and that it only came in during the trial. And the judge says, "I'm kicking this case out." And that was the correct ruling, because like I said before, but I can only emphasize that a defendant in this country under the United States Constitution has the right to confront witnesses and evidence. And what that means is it's not like in the old Perry Mason days when it was a big mystery, and then in the very end of the movie, I mean, it makes for great Hollywood. At the end of the movie, a surprise witness comes in and solves the whole thing. No. We have rules of discovery that require that the prosecution hand over all of its evidence, especially, all exculpatory evidence and other evidence from the time they set foot on the scene until the time the investigation is completed. So that rises to constitutional issues. It's ridiculous. I wanted to ask you, did you see a new thing? I don't know if it's new to you, but I have a thing that just came across my news here. 2 more Pennsylvania men have been called as witnesses for Brian Kohberger's upcoming trial. William Searfoss and Anthony Som. Oh, you knew about that? Okay, that was new to me.
Yeah. There's some people thinking that the William 127 that's supposedly BK's friend, but I don't really think so. But some were wondering if it was him, but it's not. But yeah, he's gonna have. I'm going to be honest with you. I was out there and I talked to a lot of the community. Like I said, I put on college gear. I had the backpack. I looked like a student. And
I remember.
We were talking, and I'm going to be honest with you. I honestly don't see anybody from there that would go up on Brian Kohberger's behalf.
Well, it says here that
because they're going to get harassed and.
Well, it says Searfoss's wife said that he is a correction officer at the jail where Kohberger was taken after his arrest at his parents' house in Albrightsville on December 30th of 2022. Do you think they're going to try and say that these 2 guys heard Kohberger confess?
For the defense? They're for the defense.
No. I mean, what?
I think they're for the defense. I think they're for the defense. I was pretty sure.
What could they possibly say?
That they don't, this is the thing. They're not going to have anybody that is going to go up on Brian Koberger's behalf there, because when you hear the stories of how they treat people when they're not going along to get along, it's really bad. And so I don't see anybody barely at all coming on his behalf. They're going to have people from Pennsylvania that can come on his behalf and say he didn't act crazy and psycho, and that he acted normal and stuff like that. And unfortunately, with how far of a trip that is, and that's going to be on your own dime, it's got to be hard to even get friends of his from Pennsylvania to come out there. So I'm just guessing maybe they're just having them come out there because they can testify that Brian was a mild-mannered, respectful young man. I don't.
Yeah, all right. That's character evidence, which for the most part is inadmissible, and unless there's some special.
What do you think?
I don't know. I just read this for the first time. I'm just reading it now. It must be for the mitigation part of the thing, because you can't testify, oh, he was a nice guy. Yeah, it's character evidence, and it's disfavored unless there's some special theory of relevance to some element of one of the charged crimes. And I don't see it.
Maybe he told him he didn't do it. I don't know. Like what could it? I mean, you bring up a good point, because what could it be if it can't be for, he acted normal around me for 25 minutes. What else could it be?
Well, it could only be for the. I can only speculate, because I don't know. I'm not on the inside, and there's so much that's secret in this case. But Ted Bundy was a nice guy. Even Ann Rule thought he was a nice guy, and initially Ann Rule discounted the fact that he could have been the guy, because she worked with him on the Seattle telephone lines, and he was an up-and-coming person in politics in Seattle. So a lot of people said Ted Bundy was a nice guy. Is that relevant to what happened to those young women that he picked up in Snohomish Park and elsewhere? No, of course. So everybody has a nice. Even me, even I'm nice sometimes.
Most of them are nice at first, because that's how they get you in their web. So,
So I don't know.
This is my question for you, man, because I've wondered this since the Dateline stuff came out, and there was all this talk about delay, and if it's going to be, not allowed in trial and all this. And there was a lot of people like freaking out about the delay. And, I agree with you. Hippler has been a well-oiled machine. I didn't really see a delay unless it might have been a week or two at longest. But this is what I've been bringing up this whole time. And this was, I've been curious about when it comes to the appeal. When you have evidence that was leaked out before trial, right before the jury questionnaire, you have these documentaries and books right before the trial. I don't remember any other case that has had not movies, but docs and books and all of this stuff before trial. I mean, it was crazy.
No,
you don't think it'll be an appeal thing with leaked evidence coming out before to the jury?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. And that's because there's case law that I think the state of Idaho attorneys had presented that says a fair jury can be picked. It's not whether or not they're informed about the case. It's whether or not, despite any knowledge that they have about the case, impacts their ability to be impartial. And I'm shocked. I'm very shocked here. And I keep going back to it only because it's been on our minds every single day for 9-10 weeks. In the Karen Reed trial, it's huge. It's everywhere. It's in all the papers, TV, news. I still run into people that don't know about it. There's people out there that don't even know who the governor of their own state is. Now, whether you want them on your jury or not is another question. But yes, I know this is a big case, but I can't remember who it was that made the point the other day on a channel that the state, I think it was somebody from the state itself, despite all the publicity in the Daybell and Vallow cases, they were able to pick a fair jury in those cases in Idaho. So, I mean,
but did they have this stuff coming out right before trial too?
I think they did.
Did they?
Didn't they?
I mean, I don't.
And in the old days,
maybe some Vallow stuff, but I think I don't know. I
do know that there were TV specials. I can't tell you where or when because it goes back a while. But I remember,
right.
I remember not even knowing who Daybell and Vallow were, and I found a couple of TV specials about it that brought me up. The thing that's different now is social media.
Yeah.
And, it's just pervasive. But I am old enough to remember the Ted Bundy days. And I am old enough to remember the Son of Sam days. And I am old enough to remember the subway shooter in New York City. And there were quickie books. And Jimmy Breslin wrote columns about those crimes. And so there was a lot of media then. Now, it wasn't as pervasive, truth be told. It wasn't as pervasive as social media is now. I mean, look at us. Mm-hmm. But I remember when the Son of Sam was running around New York. I mean, it was huge. It was front page news. I mean, you couldn't walk down the street in New York without seeing, huge headlines. And back in those days, I remember, because there were quickie books. You could go to, back then people still read books, unlike now. And you could go to the 7-Eleven and there would be a book on the counter about the Son of Sam. And it was just, again, I know it wasn't as pervasive, but I know I'm going to get horrible comments about this, but I believe the state of Idaho, not knowing anything about Idaho, only having been through it on the train maybe 4 times. I think the state of Idaho will have the capacity to impanel jurors from their voir dire of jurors who can be fair. They're going to ask them a lot of questions. They've already addressed that by saying, we don't want the magic question. We want you to ask a lot. And, trial attorneys spend a lot of time studying how to select a jury. It's as important as all the substantive law of, how do you get a conviction? What are the elements of each crime? That stuff is important. But trial attorneys spend an awful lot of time figuring out how to select juries and how to look for people that are going to try and get on the jury only for the notoriety and fame. I mean, the day after the Alex, I think 2 or 3 days after the Alex Murdoch decision, 3 of them were on, I forget whether it was Today or Good Morning America. I think it was Good Morning. So yeah, there's jurors that get on the jury for that purpose. But I mean, I've actually attended seminars in Boston of top trial attorneys from all over the country that come in and, here's an update on our thoughts about, impaneling a jury. National Institute of Trial Attorneys, American Association for Justice, they all teach us, the highest level of, new techniques for dealing with people that are on YouTube all the time. You gosh darn YouTubers.
I mean, it's got to be tough, really, because you come across so much stuff so quick now, with it. And you see the kind of influence that takes place on here, even with the rumors and theories and stuff like that. You see the kind of the influence that it has and whether it's true or not, because most people, they don't want to take the time to find it out for themselves. They want to just assume, it's like looking up something on the internet. Yep, it's real. Just like it is watching. Yep, it's real. You have to do your own homework too. And so, that is what's like kind of scary because, I know with like the newspapers and the magazines and all that stuff, I just, I don't know. You already, to me, it's like you mix how the people are conditioned to accept certain things and not speak up and not come with new ideas and not come with radical different ways to do things and all that stuff. And so when you're already in that pressure cooker, I'm wondering if you really can be biased, when you already exist in it, because you're going to come home. There's not too many people that live in that area, and so the people, it's a small town, they're going to know. I mean, hell, the state alone, people are going to know who's the jury. They're going to know, and I don't know. I'm just, the influence in that whole state is what really makes me wonder if they can get a fair jury. But I don't know.
I don't know. I live in a small town. And I don't know. There's a lot of people I don't know. I pick up the newspaper and I see people I don't know them. And I have been somewhat connected with the town for the decades.
You don't see the same person at Walmart every Tuesday at the same time.
In fact, I have to go to Walmart tonight after work. I ran out of dog treats. I can't go into it without dog treats. The dog won't like that. Not really. No. I mean, I don't know.
Everybody knows your name, like Cheers.
I don't know if that's so true anymore in America. In the halcyon days, the Leave It to Beaver days, everybody did know everybody. But these days, not so much. I walk down the street and doors are closed and air conditioners are on and kids are not out riding their bikes and playing like they used to. Now they're all inside on their screens. So, America has really changed a lot just in the last 10 or 20 years. So getting back the original theory, yes, I think that the court can select a fair jury. Will it be easy? No, but that's why they get the big bucks.
You think they'll have to get a special assistant to help out with that?
Oh, they always have, do you mean the court or the attorneys? Most attorneys.
The attorneys.
Yeah, most of the attorneys that I know anyhow, have a jury consultant. And I forget the woman's name. We had one on our podcast. Now I can't remember her name. She's from Florida, and she's a jury consultant. I actually knew a jury consultant who's not working anymore, but they help us. They not only now, go on social media immediately and look at people's postings, but and I'm not a big fan of body language, but they can tell us things that they see.
Yeah.
They could tell us whether they're comfortable being there or they're not comfortable being there. They can kind of give us an idea of who's being truthful and who's not being truthful. So yes, I would imagine if they don't want to commit malpractice, that all the attorneys in this case will have some kind of a jury consultant. Oh, absolutely.
What do you think's going to happen with Judge Hippler? He wanted to open in like an investigation on the leak, and we obviously don't know or won't know because they're not going to tell us. But what do you think he would do when it comes to that? Because it sounded to me when he brought it up, like he was nonchalantly assuming it was the prosecution. What would a judge do if he finds out who the leak was and if it was from the prosecution?
I don't know. I was going to ask you if you knew anything more than we do. We know that he made that 7-day order. He wanted to get to the bottom of it. He wanted a list of everyone and anyone that had any access to the information. And from the way it was pointed out to me that the way those orders were worded, it appeared that he pretty much knew that it was the prosecution. I don't know that, but I guess obviously
it looked like it.
He obviously has more information than I have, and apparently those orders have been complied with. But I mean, how many people could have had access? Now, it's highly doubtful that it was a member of either team. Like, why would Thompson or Nye, or I can't name all the people, why would any of them do it? But you have to remember that, for example, the Attorney General's office is huge. Even in a state like Idaho, there's not only the attorneys, there's the office assistants, there's the paralegals, there's the interns, there's the guy who sweeps the floor. And I never, look down on the guy that sweeps the floor, because I've known guys who sweep the floor who've given me good information in the past. But don't laugh. It's true.
I'm not laughing. Trust me, man. I have sources. I got sources.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about.
They come in all shapes, sizes, colors, and flavors, man.
And so my point in going through all of that is that in any human organization, I don't care whether it's the Attorney General's office or Walmart, there's always someone who's dissatisfied or disgruntled. Am I right? There's always someone that's not happy, that feels that they've been treated shabbily. And that's the person who's more likely to have, maybe, put some stuff on a little thumb drive somewhere. They put the thumb drive in the computer and took some stuff away. How easy is that these days?
This is what I was thinking, man, because you're right. The prosecution, either team, they're going to want, even if they greenlit it, and this is why I feel like the prosecution greenlit it, but made sure they had plausible deniability. Okay.
Who's this dude here?
This is Tyson Barrett. So I came out with this a while ago. If you look up the video Captain Champs in my video section, I kind of go through it. I've discussed him before, but this was a guy that was one of the main points of contact for any of the media, the families, or anybody the first couple days. And then for the next couple weeks after that, and then he was delegated to a lesser position within the investigation. And then Brett Payne takes over. And so if you look at this award, okay, Captain Tyson Barrett, he got a Champs Award for the City Higher Achievement by Moscow Public Services. Servants, Exceptional External Customer Service Award. Captain Barrett was assigned as the liaison between the University of Idaho, the police department, and the victims' families during the homicide investigation. He interfaced with the four families daily and provided authorized information about the investigation. This is why I think this guy was the main source of the leak, because he not only leaked information to the families, which you've heard some of the family members and come out and say stuff that is not in these court documents. You have News Nation and all these other places saying that they sources close to the investigation. Well, who was the guy that talked to the media? This guy right here. And then I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm going to anyhow. Yeah.
It says here, I'm reading what you posted here. He interfaced with the four families daily and provided authorized information.
Yeah, they have to throw in authorized, Mr. Myers. Plausible deniability, my friend.
No, I understand what you're saying.
We didn't know. We didn't know.
I'm thinking. I don't think it was anybody higher level. I think it was maybe a very disgruntled lower level employee who may have been passed over.
I thought that at first too. Because I was like, what person is going to do that? But check this out. This guy was already going to retire.
Yeah.
Okay. So this was Fry's protege. So Captain Dollinger, that got chief of police, it really was supposed to be for Tyson Barrett.
Oh.
And
well, you're really deep into this. I really admire how deep you've gotten into this stuff.
Remember when they had to switch up the investigation, December 7th, 8th, 9th? They had to change a lot of the people in and out. That's the same time they first started mentioning Brett Payne as the lead investigator. Well, at that same time, that's when I broke it down and I showed you all the different interviews of Fry and how bushy, bright-tailed he was. And then that one interview that he did where he said, we've had to change out the team because of the holidays. And I'm like, dude, it's like December 8th, bro. Like, what do you mean you're changing it out for the holidays? We just had Thanksgiving. You still got a couple weeks until Christmas. What are you talking about? And you could see on his face, like, the worry and the pain. So if you guys go to the December, it was with a local news station, December 7th, December 8th, right around there, 2022. You'll see what I'm talking about. You compare him to the other ones. This is when I think this, because this guy was Fry's protege. He said that Fry was his mentor. Fry talked about him. We went through all those articles where Fry was talking about him, and there's this mutual love and respect, and you know, and he was the, you know, and then all of a sudden, he starts off. He's right there in the beginning when everything took place. He's the one that's on his phone out front. He's handling it all, and then a couple weeks go by, and all of a sudden, stuff changes. And I think so. There's a lot of talk about how they realized when Fry switched everybody because of the holidays. That's when they realized that somebody that was involved in the investigation messed up, not on this investigation, but on a previous investigation, and was lying and making up statements that were not true in a previous trial. And so to try and back away or get that person to get away and not affect the investigation or the credibility of the investigation, that's why they kind of switched seats and did it all quietly and kept it under wraps. And I think this guy was part of it, and not necessarily disgruntled, because I thought that at first, but I think he was coming from a position where he was like, well, I'm going to retire in a little over a year. Why don't I make it up to the guys? Why don't I take this on my own? Why don't I be the one? Because I've been the one that talks to the families. Who's the family going to trust when it comes to evidence? They're probably going to trust the guy the most that's been talking to him from the first day. This guy also worked time at the University of Idaho watching over all the students. He also worked at University of Idaho. That's why he also is in ties with Green and Eccles and everybody else. And that's why he was the perfect liaison between the families, the police department, and the University of Idaho, because he was already in a position where he had to communicate with all of them already. And so I could see this guy going, look, I know I messed up. Let me fall on the sword, guys. Let me help you win this case. Let me make it up to you. I'll be the one that pushes all this stuff out to mainstream media. I'll be the one that tells these families that we got this and that and all this other stuff, or even some of the stuff that we know that is lies now, like the victim's card being in a glove box in BK's residence in Pennsylvania. Different things that, you know, Murphy's dog hair in the car, different things that turned out not to be true. And so it makes me, this is why I kind of feel like, man, this guy is like, look, guys, I know I effed up. That's why I went from the top down to the bottom, taken out, removed quietly. And they're like, you know what, dude, go ahead and do it. We didn't have this conversation. Then he'll fall on the sword. So if he gets in trouble, it doesn't make them look bad, but in turn, they still look at him as one of the brothers that was a hero to them, because he put himself on the line. Even though he messed up, he put himself on the line to fix it in the end.
So you're saying that he's the guy that actually squirreled the information out, whether it was on a little thumb drive or whatever. But he did it at the behest of the organization that the Thompsons and the Nyes and all those people wanted him to do the leak.
I think, I don't know if it would go. I don't know if, he would. I don't know. I would think that they would be in cahoots like that, where they'd be like, look, man, this is what happened, blah, blah, blah. Thompson, I feel the way that he tells everybody how to do their job, even the defense in court, makes it seem like he's Mr. Know-it-all, and he probably has the ego because people come to BT because he's the man with the experience and the know-it-all. He knows all. And so, I could see them going like, look, man, Barrett effed up, blah, blah, blah. But I don't see them doing that. I see them keeping him out of the loop. I see Moscow PD going, dude, just walk away quietly. We're not going to have any attention brought to this. The less people know, the less that they have to be accountable that they do know in any kind of situation like that. And so I think it was one of those. Now, when it comes to Bill Thompson, and what I mean by green light, when I say green light, is I can see Bill Thompson sitting in his office finding out about the leak and going, oh, cool. Maybe it'll get tossed and we don't have to worry about proving that part.
I don't know. That's a pretty deep conspiracy. But again, I've had my eye off the ball for a while. I've got to bring myself back up to speed.
Check it out, man.
In August, but I don't know. I've listened and I think you might be onto something. I don't know. So then the next question that you asked me before that got us down this rabbit hole is, what would the remedies be? What would the remedies be? I mean, you can go after the person, or you can find the attorneys, or the worst case scenario. Well, not the worst case scenario, but one of the other options would be to have, if it was an attorney, they could be sanctioned. There's a whole panoply of punishments for attorneys, anywhere from just you get a letter to sanctioning them, all the way up to disbar. They can be suspended for a period of time. They can be fined, all the way up to disbarring them, depending on the seriousness of the thing. Mm-hmm. Then the other remedies would be things like not allowing certain witnesses on the stand, or prohibiting certain evidence. I can't see them, going to the extreme of having the case dismissed, but they could certainly prohibit certain evidence, or prohibit certain witnesses, or carve away at certain parts of the testimony that you can't raise this or you can't raise that. So I don't know. It depends on who did it, how many people knew about it and didn't say anything, who's culpable, and to what extent did people know about it and not do anything about it. I mean, I'm wondering.
Well, you got, remember when you're listening to Payne, right? And he said that his office and the FBI balance and all these people, they were in a trailer, man. They were in a trailer because they didn't have any doors between them. So obviously it was a trailer that was set up and it just had one long. So, dude, this guy, this Captain Barrett was sitting in that trailer those days. I'm sure, that you come across information, everybody's working together. I'm sure he was told a lot of stuff, and if he wasn't told from the people directly, I'm sure he was told from the brothers in the force that understood it. And plus, that living document, that Exhibit A, PCA living document, anybody could have tapped into it and found out what the latest evidence was, the connections, and all those other things. So
do you mean before it was made public?
Yeah.
Really?
That it was a living document. They as the investigation progressed, that was the document that everybody put their information into. So everybody was up to speed on everything that they were discovering. And people, it's like Wikipedia. You could come in and update something and it's updated. It's kind of like that. And so when you have access like that, when we're looking at it, I mean, look, just all that's the whole reason why we quit watching mainstream media after this case came out, is because they got so outlandish.
Oh, they've got this guy guilty. They've got him guilty. That's all it is. That's all there is to it. And I mean, even Judge could see that every now and then there's some new update. I forget what it was this morning. There was something on the network news that I was watching, and they show his pictures in the prison garb, and they have him accused of killing they can say it on ABC and CBS and NBC. We can't say it on YouTube. He emmed these young children. And I mean, they just have him as guilty. They really do. Vinnie Politan over on Court TV
Yeah.
surprised a lot of people because he was guilty. He's a former prosecutor. He was guilty in the Karen Reed case, and only because he actually came up to Massachusetts and observed huge crowds of people outside of the Norfolk County Superior Court in Dedham, Massachusetts. Huge crowds. Who are these people defending this accused murderer? Well, they told him. And he actually listened, and I'll give him a lot of credit. I'll give the guy a lot of credit. He started listening to people, and he came around. And understood the whole thing. So, but he's unlike most of the media, because he actually went and put boots on the ground and, listened and talked to people. Whereas, these people in their nice air-conditioned studios in New York, when it's 108 degrees outside, they don't have a clue.
Well, that's good,
they have pretty jobs and pretty hair.
I've seen him flip shit on his panel for not agreeing with him plenty of times, so that's good to hear. And he's the same way with Idaho 4. That we were going to watch that DoorDash. He was covering the DoorDash driver.
Was he?
We haven't watched it, but we haven't watched it yet. But I figured, this will probably be interesting because he's guilty.
Now, are you talking about the one? Are you talking about the video that you were showing before I came on, or are you talking about the video of her arrest back in September of 2024? Which video?
I don't know which one. He did a video yesterday on Court TV, talking about the DoorDash driver. I think he's got a panel on there and everything. I don't know. He's probably covering, because they're always a couple days behind. He's probably covering the one from September.
Okay.
I would imagine, but I don't know for sure.
Now, are you going to be in Idaho for the trial? Are you going to go cover it?
I'm trying. I'm going to try and make it. I might be able to. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great. I'd love to talk to you. Would you be live streaming in the evenings to talk about it?
Yeah. I already have it set up, how I'm going to do it in my head, and it's going to, I'm going to be doing, most of the time when I'm live on location and I'm doing reporting, you just hear my voice, but I already got some stuff together. So, whenever I go to do my reporting from now on, no matter where it's at, I'm going to be in front of the camera. I'm going to have a microphone with me. It's going to be looking like you're watching your local news or something. And I'm going to be reporting the truth from wherever I'm at. So I'm going to be reporting. If I'm able to make it out there, I'm going to be reporting from the courthouse on any breaks, and then I'll be having live streams in the evening.
Because the court back when I believe it was June 6th issued a really restrictive order restricting the number of media people that are allowed. They really don't like media. And the order kind of restricts who can get in and who can't get in. I actually contacted the Idaho Statesman and asked them to let me interview them. Oh, we're too big for you. We get so many of these requests. And then I checked, the Idaho Statesman got all their hind legs that they didn't want to provide somebody for me.
Kevin Fixler.
Then I emailed the higher ups at the paper to just provide somebody to talk to me on my podcast. And I got one of those, we get so many of these requests. Then I checked their circulation, and their daily circulation isn't that much more than my subscribership. And I'm growing, just like I'm growing. So, if they want to take that attitude, I thought the management, not the reporters, I think the reporters are great, but the management has really not pushed for their own rights to cover the trial as vociferous as I think they should. So they'll, I don't know. Let
me email me and let me know what days and times would be good for you in the next week.
Sure.
Let me reach out because I'll see if I can get Yoli on too, and if you want to have anybody, I'll see if I can make it happen to where we can get somebody on and all of us hang out together and discuss it. And
I had Yoli on last week. Yoli and I collaborated just last week. She's great. She's really intelligent. She makes a lot of good insights, and she's really on top of this case. And so that'd be great. I'd do that. Yeah,
let me know. Reach out to me, whatever you have available in the next week, the best times and days or whatever, and then I'll try and see what Yoli's got going on, and then I'll reach out and we'll see if we can get somebody from the Idaho Statesman, because I was already going to reach out. I was just getting through some other things, and that was just later on.
And I
If-
pointed
if
out
I
in
got to it, but-
reaching out to them, I pointed out this is in no way a gotcha. I seriously believe in the First Amendment and the rights to cover. I was a reporter. My undergraduate degree is in mass media. I was a reporter both in radio and in television for 10 years before I went to law school. And I was then, and I am now, a strong advocate for open courts. And I think it's horrible that the judge in this case, even though I said nice things about him before, has really restricted the amount of contact that the media will have to this trial. I mean, it's fine for us all to sit out here on YouTube land and watch it, but there's nothing like actually being in the courtroom and seeing people's faces, hearing them breathe, watching them face to face. There's no replacement for that. And the people out there that say, oh, the press has no right, really need to go read the United States Supreme Court's Nebraska Press Association case, because the United States Supreme Court settled that issue years ago in saying that there is absolutely a right to see what's going on in our courthouses. The public has a right to know. Now, truth to be told, the defendant has a right to a fair trial, and the courts have to balance those two. And I'm not saying it's an easy thing, but I'm a strong advocate for the press. I was press. I did cover court cases when I was a reporter. So, I'm not their enemy.
Mainstream media already messed it up, man, because when and this is why, like, when they were trying to get special treatment when it came to the seats available and to make sure that they had them, they were like, we're going to be the ones without bias. And when you look at it, who was the one that had to cover Brian Kohberger's face when that organization was zooming in on Brian Kohberger against the judge's orders? I put up the coffee cup because I was like, look,
I remember that
because I know Judge John Judge was out there looking around to see if people were going to abide by it, and I threw this baby up there. I'm like, look, man, this stuff needs to be televised. People need to know. And when it comes to the tactics that they're doing, they're like sitting there manipulating, pushing boundaries. And when you're listening to the truth when it comes from them and the truth when it comes from us, who do you think is going to tell the truth about what emotions were really going on in that courtroom? What was really said in that courtroom? All the real. The last thing I would do is listen to somebody from mainstream media. I'd rather listen to somebody like us that doesn't have that boardroom above our head telling us we have to push this agenda, because with them it's all about the ratings.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what you just said. You put your finger on it, because every news story has an editor and then a layer of management above them that says, we got to sell newspapers, or we got to push the ratings. If you're a TV station, you've got to push them. And before they even leave the newsroom that day, there's a peg that they have to hang the story on. And the peg is that he's guilty and he did it. And don't even listen to any of this folly roll.
Right.
Don't even listen to it. I'm not saying he did it. I'm not saying he didn't do it. I said, I have an open mind and I want to see all this stuff that's sealed back there, and have somebody I trust in the courtroom to look into people's eyes as they give that evidence. That's what we need. And if the court's going to, push people out, I don't know if that's a good day. I really don't. So that'd be great if you could get over there. I'd love to talk to you. If not every day, many days when you go there.
Because it's going to be based off of first come first serve basis, and it's going to be off of a website that you got to go to, and we always find the ways to sneak in early, so I'm pretty sure I can be pretty confident that I'll be able to get in there most days.
That would be great,
because we just know how to slip under the door crack,
That would be great.
It would be nice. Trust me.
There was before I go, there was a great story that Andrea Burkhart, I don't know her, but I'm a big fan of hers. I watch her all the time. Way back in one of the early sessions, she told a story about how she got up early in the morning and drove over to Moscow, Idaho. I believe she lives in Western Washington. She gets up early in the morning, and she drives over to the court, and she gets in line, and she's waiting, and she got there in time to get into court. But one of these big network people that just thinks that they're bigger than what said, "Oh, excuse us, we're network." And she said, "No, I've been here since X o'clock in the morning, it's my turn. I get in, and the network person was somewhat abusive, but she just smiled her nice smile and walked into the court. She got in, and the network person didn't. So I wish you all the luck. You should, whatever the thing is, do what you got to do to get in there.
Trust me.
All right, I gotta run. I'm on my lunch break. I haven't even my yogurt yet, so I have to finish my yogurt.
Well, thank you so much, man. I missed you. I hope you're doing good, and we got to get together again anytime.
Okay,
man. I appreciate you. Thank you for hopping up, man.
Be well.
You too, buddy.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. That was a great conversation. He's a character too, man. He's a character too. Let me share his channel real quick. That way. Let me see here. If you're not subbed to him, here's his channel here, and here's the link. I appreciate it. Yeah, Trey's just been really busy too. I think we're gonna end up doing some police simulator this weekend. I think we're going to be doing some police simulator this weekend for a little bit. So look for that. What time are we looking at? 1:15. Well, let me see here. We're going to have to save that DoorDash episode with Court TV. We're going to save that until the next one. So I am going to go live tonight. I was going to go live last night, but I wanted to go show some love to Jules. Again, if you didn't see Jules's episode in the breakdown, she did a beautiful job with it. Definitely go check it out when it came to the conversation with the friend. If you're just joining, definitely check out the beginning. We went through a bunch of stuff in the beginning, and then we got to the body cam and discussed that. And then what a great conversation with Andrew D. Myers. Awesome dude. A lot of knowledge. Don't necessarily always agree 100% on everything. Maybe 98%. but a great dude, and hopefully we can get that together coming up for you soon. So I'm going to take a little break. We're going to go ahead and end this show on that note. We'll add that stuff later on, and then we'll see what else we're going to get into. So we'll get into the Vinny DoorDash stuff tonight, and then I don't know. I'm going to go through my stuff and see what else. So also, if I do, because I might go hang out over here at some point in between. This is a new channel that I made. Used to have the lounge, but the lounge just got hit way too many times. So I had to make a new channel. If you want to go sub up over there, please do. And sometimes we'll just hang out and do whatever. So I want to say thank you all for being here. Appreciate it very much. Please hit the like if you haven't yet. Also, go sub Christy Nevada, Andrew D. Myers, Jules of All Trades. Go sub up and go show some love over there too. Thank you all. We will be here a little bit later on. I'll have a notification out in probably a couple hours once I figure out exactly everything that we're going to be going into. And then I will see you guys then. Not sure about tomorrow morning. I'm thinking I'll be here tomorrow morning, but I'm not too for sure yet. But we will be back tonight. I love you guys. Have a peaceful, positive day. And if I see you out in these streets, I'll say hi again. Love you guys. Be safe. And can't wait to see you again.
DMV doesn't take pictures of the, is it domestic related?